Hi everyone. So in this video, we'll be talking about selling your Amazon physical products on European marketplaces of Amazon. And our guest will be Anton Herman from Space Goats. And in this session, you will learn why you could expand your business to European marketplaces, what pitfalls are waiting for you, and how things changed after the Brexit 1 year ago, and a few other interesting tips, recommendations, and facts will be given by Anton. Hello, Anton.
Hello, Augustus. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me.
And now, Anton, could you please introduce yourself and present just an overview what we'll be talking today?
Definitely. And don't forget to click the bell as well so that you always are updated with the nice content Augustus is producing here. As I said, thank you very much for having me. Today we are going to talk about Amazon Pan-European program and everything what is going to be in the Pan-European program and things what are actually not anymore in the Pan-European program. But be curious about the details. So let's start directly with the title. Pan-EU means Pan-European program, sell in 7 or 8 countries with 1 or 2 stocks. Little spoiler, little teaser. It's because of UK that you have the 2 in the brackets. But maybe some words about my person, why I am here and why I can talk about that stuff. So basic overview, I studied mechanical engineering, started with Amazon in 2016 myself as a seller, experienced a lot of stuff, experienced a lot of problems. What we were going to tackle with our company Space Goats, which we found a couple of years later, where we sell products for other companies European-wide through Amazon. That's what we do, and that's why we have the insights about selling in European Union. And currently I'm running the Amazon operations and the customer success department. Was used to do the marketing as well, but now I focus on the real Amazon stuff. Currently we have 200 plus brands under our account, so we have multiple thousands of products where we experience a lot of funny, more funny, less funny things. And as a let's say fun part of myself, I'm the commander of the army. That's like my hobby. I'm painting like little models and fighting with them against other freaks. And now let's come to the content part.
And actually, yes, I think at the end we will talk more about what Space Goats can offer to Amazon sellers. And very important, this service, if you use this service, you don't need to worry about Amazon VAT, a lot of things, European things. You just can, let's say, bring your American product to European market without hassle, with a simple fee from Space Goats. But we will talk later about that. And also you'll find the link to Space Goats below, and I think some discount if you want to check their service. But now let's jump to the content.
Just up front, there's always hassle, but we make the hassle less a problem. Let's call it like this. But laws are laws, rules are loose, and we have to follow them. So thank you very much for this introduction. First, we talk about Pan-EU in a nutshell. What does it mean? How it looks like? Which countries you can sell in if you're using that network? Then a basic overview, how to set it up, like the easy overview, and then some tips and details how you really do it, because it looks like it's easy, but in the end it's mostly more complicated than thought. Then we talk about some insights like new marketplaces and features what Amazon released. After that, a short review about the Brexit, what's different now, what was before, and what will change for you guys. And in the end, I will explain a little bit what we are doing and how we can help you with all the issues, what I will explain in the next slides. Okay. So what does Pan-EU mean? So the basic idea of this pan-European network of Amazon, and it's often of the times it's confused with the EFN network or with having the stock in different countries or selling from different countries, blah, blah. But I will just clarify it from the beginning on. Pan-European network of Amazon means that you have one stock at the Amazon warehouse, which Amazon distributes without you needing to do anything to all the European marketplaces which are part of this program. Means when you want to sell your stuff European-wide, you don't need to send your goods to France, to Italy, to Sweden, everywhere yourself. You just send it in wherever you like. For example, in Germany, you send your goods in, and Amazon will distribute the products to all the other European marketplaces, relied on the data they have about the consumption habits of the countries. Means if somebody is looking for bamboo toothbrushes on a regular basis somewhere near Sevilla in Spain, and you don't have stock in Spain already, then Amazon will upfront distribute the products already to Spain so that the customer gets the best experience he can. So that's the basic idea of the Amazon Pan-European program, and does not mean that you send goods everywhere, because that's not the Pan-European program itself. So together we have 7 countries at the moment where you can use this network with 7 plus 1, because Turkey also started to be part of this program, but because there's a big uncertainty about what is going on there with the customs and all the other stuff, I wouldn't go that much into detail with Turkey, but all the other marketplaces you can already sell. So there's Germany, France, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, Sweden, and Poland, and UK was used to be part of the network, but it is not after the Brexit. Together we have a population of 300 million people only in the marketplace countries itself. It's not about the countries which are around the marketplace countries. For example, a Belgian person could also order products from the Netherlands marketplace. Finnish customer can order products from the Swedish marketplace. So all these countries around have even more, have even higher population, but only the marketplace countries have a 300 million population. Plus, if you count UK and Turkey, to that number we have 460 million. It's even more than living in the USA. Purchasing power is pretty high in Europe because the population is pretty wealthy compared to other parts of the world. So I love the slide. That's why I'm always using it. The cake is big enough, and we are here to learn how to get your part out of this cake. First of all, the advantages on one glance. So what is nice if you're using this Pan-European program or if you're selling? We are all Europeans here. We have different cultures. We have different languages. But in general, we are part of the European Union and we share similar legislation and laws. Okay, so if there are many ways how European law will transfer into national law, but in general, European Union decides on something and then it gives the countries some time to implement the laws into their own laws. So that's why we have pretty similar laws all over Europe, what is nice and makes things easier. I wrote here beatable competition because I heard that many people here are selling in USA as well. We always call the competition in USA as the Red Sea, like insane competition, insane PPC costs, and so on. This is much better in Europe in general. UK, it's not a part of it here anymore, but Germany has the highest competition compared to the other European marketplace, but you can still get your market share over here with kind of a reasonable effort. While Spanish, Italian, French marketplaces and the others, anyhow, the new ones, the competition is very, very low compared to Germany or to the USA even worse. So that's a thing where you can get your share right now. Amazon managed what I explained in the beginning. Amazon managed the cross-border distribution, so you don't need to do it yourself. You don't need to plan stock for each country. Amazon will do it for you. You just need to keep one stock, what makes life much, much easier. What is another advantage? Revenue growth. It's so obvious that I will not talk about it anymore. You have the first mover advantage. what means if then earlier you get into a market, the better it will be for your long-term SEO ranking. Imagine you could do the same what you do at the moment, just 3 years before, you would be probably in a different position, and that's a chance you have right now. Just one sentence to the thing I said before, the beatable competition. We take the competition level, and I don't want to harass anybody on this one, but the number of Asian sellers in the marketplace, like the share of Asian sellers compared to the other sellers. That's how we try to distinguish some competition level, let's call it like this. The more Chinese sellers, for example, then easier it will be for you with your marketing expertise, with your cultural expertise, with your language expertise to get a bigger share of the cake. Okay, that's why it's even better. In Spain, for example, we had a couple of months ago, we had more than 50% of all the marketplace sellers in Spain were like from Asia, and it's much easier for Europeans to beat them than other Europeans. But the price is of course always a big point for sourcing in Asia and living in Asia. Okay, and you most likely have heard that there's a lot of stuff going on with the aggregator thing, like Thrasio, like Razor, like all the big buyers, Amazon business buyers, and they love to see the diversification. It means when you have running one marketplace and you have 100% on one marketplace, you're not diversified. When you have at least 30% market share in other marketplaces, but your home marketplace, then you count as diversified, and this will be very positive for the multiple when you want to sell your company. So that's also a nice side effect of diversification and scaling to new marketplaces. The challenges, in super easy, we will deep dive into some pitfalls later, is the VAT and tax compliance. So everything what's related to VAT, because when you want to use the Amazon Pan-European program, you need to allow Amazon to store your goods in different countries, and as soon as you store and sell from a different country than you're located yourself, you need to have a VAT number in this country and pay your VAT tax in this country. Means when you want to serve the 7 marketplaces, you would need 7 VAT numbers in 7 different marketplaces, and you need to pay on a monthly or a quarter basis all the VAT, what just costs a lot of money. The second big issue or big challenge, I would say, is the product compliance. But if you are already selling in the US market, then it will be not something new for you. And of course, the language and culture is also some kind of a challenge, because I will always take US as a comparable example. I think a West and an East American person is much more similar than some Spanish or Polish guy. Okay, that's just different people. Of course, similar legislation and kind of similar culture, but it's not the same. So you need to really think about each country, what is different there, what do they want to buy, why they buy it, and blah blah blah. And of course, translations you need for every marketplace, another language and another SEO optimized listing, and so on and so forth. So, but we want to talk now about how to set it up in a short way. So you probably have heard how it works, but after that we will go in some little tricks and details what we learned from our time as multi-country seller. So yeah, first steps are always tough. We know that. I love GIFs. You will see it in the rest of my presentation as well. But the first part is always to get the bureaucracy in shape. What does it mean? The bureaucracy is the stuff what is not fun. Okay, bureaucracy means to establish a company. Bureaucracy means to get VAT numbers. bureaucracy for me as well means to open a new Amazon account where we also could have issues with, okay? But because when you, just a little example, we will get into this later, when you open a marketplace, for example, when you link your marketplace to all the European marketplaces and you activate Pan-European program and you forget to upload some VAT number in Spain, in the Spanish Amazon marketplace, then the Spanish marketplace will just get blocked, okay? That's why I call it also bureaucracy. So first step, open my Amazon account. Second step, get your VAT number, choose a VAT tax consultant or SaaS provider, and don't take some normal one, take one who's specialized on e-commerce, because he can get through the API all the data you don't need to, and so on and so forth. So that's a big recommendation, to not use the cheapest one, just use the one which fits to e-commerce and Amazon. Apply for all the VAT numbers. If you have a good one, he will apply he will apply it for you. And as soon as you got all the numbers, you could actually start selling, but really wait before you get the number of one marketplace before you start in this marketplace. That's Europe, okay? That's in USA. I know it's the other way around. You just start selling, and if you reach some thresholds, then you can backwards get the VAT number and pay all the tax what you generated once. That's nice, and that's much more efficient, but it's not the case in Europe. You need to have these numbers up front before you can actually start selling. Another example, and another important thing is register the brand what you want to sell in all over Europe. There is a register EUPO. I wrote the name here. You can apply for your brand over there, but it's also my personal recommendation, especially if you're not familiar with Amazon, with the European law set, take some legal advice over here. It's much more expensive if you break some rules than if you get some consultant up front, because we had this experience so many times. People got some brand number registered in Germany, and they wanted to register the same brand in France, but it was already catched, so it was already blocked, and then they had no possibility to sell their product in France anymore, because they did not do it up front correctly. So that's what I really recommend. Don't save money on the wrong parts. And last but definitely not least, in this bureaucracy part, is meet product compliance requirements. And I cannot give you just a general answer here what kind of compliance documents you need, because it's, as in USA, for each category, for each product type, pretty different. But as a teaser, Amazon really wants them. Amazon wants you to upload your product compliance files, what are required, to the Amazon marketplaces, because the government takes Amazon into account if something goes wrong over there. So Amazon tries to filter all this law breaks in advance. Okay, but we can talk about some hints here later on. Then the fun part, of course, that's what you're doing. That's where you're good at. It's like launching the listing, basically setting up the listings, getting translations, upload the listings to Amazon, find agencies, or do it yourself. What you want to do, like PPC, customer support, maybe you can do it yourself. And of course, just a normal basic product launch in every single marketplace. That's what you need to do, because the keyword rankings, they will not transfer, obviously not to other marketplaces, because the different language. I don't need to explain more. Every marketplace needs its own listing, needs its own content, and will get its own ranking for the various keywords. So, as I said, it sounds very easy in the beginning, but there are some issues where you just need to be aware of. It's not like it's not solvable. Everything is solvable, but it's not like it's very hard to solve, but there are things what you should consider in advance. And one part that I really like to tell in many of my presentations, not only about internationalization, Amazon settings are important. Very important, and each marketplace matters here. That means for each market, it's not for all the settings. You have also global account settings, but for some sub settings, you would need to enter the right settings in every marketplaces. For example, the contact information for every marketplace means you can have a contact number in Spain for contact telephone number in Spain, and you could have another one in Italy. Okay, it's obvious. It says language reasons, but this needs to be filled in every marketplace. Okay, otherwise you will get some notification. Please fill your contact data here. The second one is PPC payment data. In general, it's straightforward. You upload it once and it will be distributed to others. But we also experience that you need to adjust it sometimes from customers, that it's not directly distributed to the other marketplaces. And that's Amazon. I mean, things are supposed to work and they don't. That's how what we're used to. So better check than sorry. That's what I've written in the headline. And the next one is a very important thing. What is made often wrong. Are your products really enrolled for the Pan-European program? As I already said, when you want to sell when your product is sold through the Pan-European program, then you get the local FBA cost, like the shipping cost, from the marketplace. You always get the local cost. But if your product is not really enrolled for this Pan-European program, this could have multiple reasons. Then you will pay for every marketplace, but the one where you send your goods in, the cross-border shipment fee, what is double as high as the normal one, and this costs money. Okay, so if you're already trying to do it yourself, please check it if your products are really enrolled and not only like in this example here, illegal. Okay, so that's very important to save costs, but you will see it on the on the bank account when you did something wrong over here. Did you upload all the VAT numbers already? I'm searching the Amazon seller forum on a weekly basis, I would say, and at the moment, like the last 2 months or so, that's like the main reason for blocked Amazon accounts, that people forgot to upload their VAT number in any marketplace or in the home marketplace, any marketplace. They just forgot to do that, and then the account gets blocked. And to block an account is easy. To unblock an account is very hard, especially when the account is small. The bigger the account, the easier it gets. That's our experience to unblock the account from customers of us. But if you have a new account and you do something wrong like this, like forget to upload the VAT number, it will be very hard to unblock the account again. So, and a last hint here, you have a account health for every marketplace. So you have this one login. You log into your Amazon account, and then you can switch to between the different marketplaces. And for each marketplace, you have different account health. Okay, you can be green in UK, I always say in Germany, and yellow in France. So be aware that it is like this, and check really on a regular basis, at least once per week, the account health of each marketplace. It will save you money if you do that. Okay, now the other part beside Amazon is of course the real world, and here we are mostly talking about compliance. It's not super hard, as I said, but there are some things you have to consider. Otherwise, you will get blocked either by Amazon, or you will get a big bill by some lawyer of the opponent side, which will cost you a lot of money. So one thing what is required in most of the marketplaces, in some more and some less, but in most it is required, is a packaging registration. What does it mean? If I am selling products with a package outside, with an outside package, then someone needs to be responsible for the trash removal. Let's call it like this. And being responsible means to pay money. So if you are selling products which produce packaging trash, you would need to send this data, how much you sold, how many kilograms of paper, of metal, of whatever, and then you need to pay the bill for the trash you produced. And for example, in Germany, it's very easy to follow, to see if somebody's not doing it, because you will just enter, there's some central register, you will just enter some brand name, and then you will see if the brand is registered for this packaging trace registration. It's not. And you have, in Poland, you have an even harder law, I would say, that you need to place your package registration number on your invoice to the end customer. Okay, but it's only in Poland there is. While in Netherlands, you don't need any registration under some multiple tons or something like that. So, but you need to be aware of it, and this must be done. Otherwise, you will get problems. The next thing is have your WEEE registration and battery registration in place. WEEE is for electronic products. Like every electronic product, what is sold in the European Union needs to be registered for this system. Similar to the packaging registration, but only especially for electronic trash. Okay, it's just the same as well as the battery. So before you are allowed to sell products in Germany, it's in Germany like this. In other countries of Europe, it's a bit different. For example, in France, you can do it afterwards. Okay, but in Germany, you also need to have it up front. We got one customer in the past. He had some how do you call it, RFID blocker card, and there was a new law from 2019, mid-2019, where all passive electronic devices needs to have this registration as well. It's not something what you put in some plug or whatever, but with this law he had to do that, and he had no number, and then some competitor blocked his listing, and he also got posts from the opponent's lawyer, and he had to pay all the revenue, not the revenues, all the profits back what he generated with this product over lifetime. That is insane, a lot. Okay, so here is definitely cheaper to be safe than sorry. Strong recommendation. Have a proper pre-FBA warehousing in place. What does it mean? As in many other markets, so as in North America, IPI, so Inventory Performance Index in Europe, is also an issue. And if you send goods from Asia directly to the Amazon warehouse, the goods will block your stock, and in super simple, it will harm your IPI if you create shipment plans for products which will arrive months later. Okay, so what is the best solution is you get the products to, for example, Europe, for example, Germany, and then you send like little pieces to the Amazon warehouse to not harm your Inventory Performance Index. And what can happen if you harm it, we saw it last year, so 2021, where most sellers couldn't ship any goods to Amazon at all anymore. So that's very important. And then the next part, it's also not intuitive, I would say. It's a responsible address in European Union. Every product what is distributed in Europe needs to have some responsible address, so some address what is responsible for, let's say, compliance stuff of this product. Means if you're selling like some lamps and somebody's dying, some house is burning because of the lamp, what was not compliant, then somebody needs to be taken into account, and this needs to be a address what is in the European Union, nowhere around this. So if you're a seller which is not already established in Europe, you need a partner which can implement this one for you. So it's required. There is no way out. And in the past, it was not that kind of a big issue. Only if a competitor told it to Amazon, but at the moment, not to Amazon, to some legal entity, but at the moment it's like Amazon can check it itself, and if you don't have a responsible address in the European Union and you're selling in the European Union, they will just block your account. And it really happened to 2 of our current customers that they got blocked because of that kind of compliance issue, and then your account is dead. And it's after that kind of issue, it's very hard to unblock it. And of course, I think there was a question also in advance. Double check your product labeling, otherwise Amazon will do it anyhow. So, or some competitor will do it and then report it to Amazon. And here was the question: if I need to have all the different, all the packaging description in all the marketplace languages, and it's the answer, it depends. It depends on the product you're selling. So, for example, there are like product labeling rules for food products. There you need all the macronutrition stuff in the local language. While if you're selling like easy products, only the hazard warnings need to be in the local languages. So at least the hazard warnings, they need to be in all the local languages, but in many cases also other ingredients, for example, of the product need to be in the local language. But in general, it's better to have it, but sometimes it does not fit on the product packaging. Then you could enter for many categories or also some kind of a paper thing inside where you have this manual in the different languages. And then we have some other pitfalls that already teased a bit. Intellectual property, which experience it hurts financially like the most. I have a friend, he found a cool product idea. He got pitched a cool product idea by his Chinese supplier. And this was super nice product. He just started to sell it, okay? And this was but the product was a Kickstarter product from some Swedish company. And they sold it for horrible high prices, like huge price, like 5x to the price what he sold it for, with a lot of profit, okay? So insane. But they got some intellectual property on the design, and he had actually to pay back all the profits he made with the product in the time where he sold it. So that hurts a lot. Plus, of course, the ranking is gone, your launch costs are gone, everything is just gone. And so please be aware of securing your intellectual property and also not harming others, the intellectual property. Another thing what comes more from the praxis is the indexing problem. So what does it mean? When your product listing looks fine, but you cannot find it on Amazon. So everything is fine, it looks good, but you enter a keyword bamboo toothbrush and it does not found your listing on Amazon, then you have an indexing problem. And this could have multiple reasons, but we experienced that the most common reason is that you have either a wrong browse node or no browse node. For example, Amazon distributed your listing, spread your listing to other countries, and just did not spread the browse node as well. Then you have to enter the browse node. It would be the easy way. It's an easy fix. Another problem also within the second common problem is that it's just an Amazon bug. Everything is fine. Everything is super cool and clean, but your product is still not found. Then it might be an Amazon bug, and there's like one formula what you can use. You can hit me up after that if you have this issue, where you send this formula to Amazon, async block from first page, something like that. So it's a line of code. And if you send it to the technical support of Amazon, not the normal support, but the technical one, you can get it if you checkmark it's urgent box. And then they can help you if you are lucky in the first approach, but maybe you need some multiple approaches. But that's a big issue, because if you're not indexed, you cannot sell because nobody can find you. Another issue, what is not a big issue, is that you don't have the same margin in every marketplace. It's what means you have different VAT types in the different marketplaces. So in Germany, for example, it's 19%. In Poland, I think I remember like 22% or something. So that is different. Plus the shipping costs per marketplace are also different. So to be 100% correct, you need to calculate your margin for every marketplace separately. Another thing is, I told you about the Amazon Pan-European program. So Amazon distributes your products all over Europe. This is only possible when you have, in general, for all your sales, for all your stock, at least 30 days of stock. That's what Amazon officially recommends. We know from practice it works also when you have less than 30 days, but Amazon recommends strongly to have this at least 30 days of stock in your Amazon account, so that Amazon has enough stock to distribute it to the different fulfillment centers all over Europe. Then I marked it as red. Read your notifications. Amazon will send you notifications, also marketplace specific, general and marketplace specific, and sometimes there is very important information in that notification, and you have to read it. You have to read it. You have to take your phone when Amazon calls you, unfortunately, and you have to read the emails Amazon sends out, because sometimes it's a problem, but it's easy solvable. Amazon wants you to do something and you just don't react. Then Amazon reminds you to do something, you don't react, and then Amazon just blocks your account and say, okay, this guy, we don't want to work with this guy anymore. And that's the thing where Amazon accounts get blocked. Okay, so read your notification and react to them. So the last part of the pitfall is the brand is not. It's not like brand. There are different types of brands. You could have local brands, or you could have European brands, or you said just to proper European brand. It's instead of, I have the German example, 300 euro once for Germany only, you pay like 900 euro for all over Europe, so it's definitely worth it. And Amazon at least officially requires to have a European brand instead only the national brand. And with that, you can register with this registration. You can register the brand at the Amazon brand registry, and this will make your life much easier. You have access to better features. You can protect yourself against competitors which want to hijack your listing, update your content. There is a lot of. I heard about a hack. Maybe you have had it in this stream as well. So a gray black hat hack, what I don't recommend to do, but to be aware of that it exists. Okay, Amazon takes Amazon accepts as the proof that you are the seller of a product, that you are the owner of a brand, some third-party website where you can show, hey, this is my brand, these are my products, this is my price, this is my content. And that's what they do. They take your product, say to Amazon, look, they copy your product to their own online shop or some shell online shop would never make sales. And then they approach Amazon and say, look, he has different content than me, and I'm obviously showing the website, obviously the brand owner of the product. And this destroys listings like a lot. So that's how they shut listings down from competitors. So they just confuse keywords or do whatever weird stuff. When you have a brand registry in place, it's much easier to protect yourself from that kind of things. But it's definitely not an uncommon problem that, yeah, people want to attack you. I guess in the USA it's even worse. Then after I made some, I afraid you in the ways what can go wrong, some kind of a solution. What I want to present is how you upload your listing the smartest way in the 2022. It changes on a regular basis, but that's like the current best solution to do that. What I would strongly recommend to not do is to allow Amazon to create your listings, because then nobody knows where the brand, where the writing rights are, who is responsible for the listing. Change things is much more difficult and blah blah blah. So don't do that. Do it yourself in your account, and don't let Amazon do it. Okay, that's like the first step. But you can go into the settings and directly unlock this checkbox. I wouldn't ever do that. Okay, same as allow Amazon to sell your products globally. It's even worse. Please deactivate it. Otherwise, Amazon will spread your listings in other marketplaces. You have no clue what's going on there. Then your product does not meet the local product compliance. What you don't know because you were never about to sell your product over there. Then you get bad reviews because the manual is in not the local language, and blah blah blah. And so deactivate it, please. I experienced it so many times that you get irreversible damage, but you obviously cannot roll back. So how do you do that? You have to create your listing in one marketplace first. If you are already a European seller, And if you're already a European seller but UK, you don't need to do that step. But basically, you upload the listing as you would do it in your home marketplace. You enter an ASIN, you enter a price, SKU, and so on and so forth. Choose a category, or like manually, or you can do it via Flatfile. What is also possible if like multiple ASINs. In general, under like 3 ASINs, I would probably do it manually. So when you did it, then the real magic begins, because that's like straightforward. Then you have two options to spread the listings to other marketplaces. Option 1, for if you don't have so many products, as I said, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that, you just go into the edit menu of the products. So manage stock, and then you find the product, click on edit, and then on the offer page you see the different marketplaces. As on the right corner here in this slide, you see the other marketplace, and as soon as you enter a price over there and save it, a couple of minutes later, your listing shell, only the listing shell, will be generated also on the other marketplaces. So then if you switch the marketplace from Germany to Italy, for example, you will see the listing shell without text, for example, without content. But the pictures, because the pictures are like spread from one marketplace to the other, what you can avoid with the next slide, what I will show you in a couple of minutes. The second option, if you have like many products, Amazon launched some kind of new feature. It's not really a feature, it's a Google spread. It's a spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet. It's the inventory loader, and it's kind of a simplified flat file. And there you just need to enter the ASIN SKU and maybe the price, and then you just upload. And it has almost 0 bugs compared to the flat file, because flat file, it's kind of a fight every time when you upload a flat file. After you did one of this too, you have your listing in all the marketplaces where you want to sell your product. Then you upload the content as usual with some flat file or manually for each marketplace, like the written content, I mean, like bullet points, title, and so on. And after that, when you did it, you have the new feature of Amazon to upload individual pictures for each marketplace. What is not totally new, but pretty new, that you have a mask to do that. In the past, it was like you had to approach Amazon with pictures to upload your pictures for you, but now Amazon gives you the feature to do it manually. But just one sentence, but you need to have a registered brand, so an Amazon brand registered brand. Otherwise, you don't have the option to do so. Augustus, please.
Yeah, it's very interesting that now it's available to all the sellers, because this is what I heard even recently, a few months ago, that you needed a special representative of Amazon to activate this feature, but now everybody can do that, right?
Everybody who has a brand can do that. It does not work always and stuff, but that's Amazon. We are used to it. But in general, it works, and it's a cool, nice feature. And you have the same or similar feature for videos. And if you go into the inventory, if you hover over the inventory, you see it in the screenshot on the right. Then it will show up somewhere down the column. And then you can do it directly over there. As I said, Amazon brand registry is required for both. And now the final finalization, your content is ready. It looks cool. Of course, A+ content is also straightforward. You need to upload your A+ content everywhere yourself. Nothing changed in the last years. But when you did it and your product is already running, then please double check and triple check if you uploaded all the product compliance documents that Amazon requires for this product. Amazon created a new feature where you can do that. In the past, it was like Amazon blocked your listing. You asked why Amazon you block my listing, and they say there's some compliance document missing. And you send the compliance document to the Amazon support, and then it's the wrong one, and back and forth, and then Amazon deblocked your listing. Now you can do it in advance, upfront, yourself in the manage your product compliance documents feature. Please do that. Please upload better, more than less product compliance documents. Amazon is really up to controlling that stuff more and more day over day. Okay, it's getting more and more important because the government takes Amazon more and more into account if something goes wrong. So that was the how to set it up with some hint. I mean, I don't need to explain how to upload a bullet point to a marketplace. It was more about the practical tips, what is different here in Europe, or what could be a challenge. But let's deep dive into some news and insights about the Pan-European program. So in the past, it was like this. When you wanted to sell your product with the Pan-European program, you had to have it. It was a requirement to have to upload it and activate it in all the 5 marketplaces. In the past, it were 5 marketplaces, and be active everywhere. Otherwise, we have to issue what I explained a couple of slides before, that your product is eligible for selling, for using the Pan-European program, but not enrolled. If it's not enrolled, you pay the higher cost, like the cross-border shipment fee, but for the marketplace, it's a home marketplace. Now Amazon gives you the opportunity to only activate Pan-European 2, 3, or 4. So you can also only sell it in 2 marketplaces, or 3 marketplaces, or 4 marketplaces, and still get the Pan-European bonus, what is nice, because in the past we had customers, hey, I cannot sell my product in France because my competitor has the same brand. What shall we do? Okay, flop, because Amazon forced you to have it online everywhere. So we did some hack and blah, blah, blah. But in general, it was very, very difficult. But be careful here. If you have a listing created in one marketplace already, then you need to be active over there as well. That's very important information. So if you want to sell your product, if you don't want to sell your product tomorrow in Sweden or in Spain, but only in Italy, France, and Germany, for example, then don't spread the product to that marketplace, because as soon as there is a listing created, the listing share is created in that marketplace, you have to be active over there. Very important information. It sounds like weird, but that's that's a freaking reality. So don't only upload the listings where you're really about to sell the products. Review accumulation, it's not that new anymore, I guess 1.5 years or so. So a couple of years ago, it was like you had to launch a product and generate reviews for every marketplace from scratch. And now it accumulates the reviews from all the different marketplaces, so you don't start at 0 when you have already reviews in Germany and start selling in France. So this is awesome. This is just awesome, and it was, I think, necessary to have it. And I guess, I don't know if they changed it in the last months, but if you are selling with an ASIN, which has already reviews in USA, then you can transfer the reviews also to the European marketplace, at least most of the reviews, and they get overwritten as soon as you have, I guess, 10 reviews in the local marketplace, something like that, but you don't have to start with 0, what is nice. Individual images and videos per marketplace, already said it. Another nice thing is Pan-European Small and Light. That's very new, like a couple of months. Before that, Small and Light, for the guys who don't know, if you're selling products which cost less than 10 euro and which have a little size, then you get super cheap shipping costs for the products. Okay, but you couldn't use this in combination with the Amazon distributes your products all over Europe Pan-European program. Now it's possible, not for all the marketplace, I guess. Germany, so Germany for sure, Germany, France, Italy, Spain, this for sure. I'm not sure about super new ones, but that's also very nice, because in the past you had to sell really your products in each marketplace and couldn't use this super nice Pan-European feature. Managed experiments, you might know it from the USA. It's basically A/B testing in the Amazon world. You can set, for example, 2 titles, and Amazon will test which title converts better and give you some data about it. It's also rolled out in Europe a couple of weeks or days or something like that. So pretty new as well. Amazon B2B, it's kind of a B2B platform. So we as a company, it's always hard for us with the invoices, like especially for bigger, not for us, for like Bosch or something like that. I was never allowed to buy products from Amazon because we had issues with the invoices, and are the invoices correct, and can we get all VAT back, and blah blah blah. Amazon offers this now, especially for B2B customers, and there, if you want to shop there, you need to have this Amazon B2B requirements in place, otherwise you cannot sell there. I guess that was the punishment. And another thing is the removal feature. So if you, for example, have more stock than you can sell, or products are not sellable that good, and you don't want to get them back and re-export them from the country we are selling them, blah blah, you can use some new features. It came with the warehouse restrictions from the last year, because people, they said like, okay, I have 1,500 units there, and you tell me to get 1,300 back, what shall I do with them? Now you can liquidate them, for example, or you can give them, I don't know the English word, it's for charity. You can give them for charity and so on. And Amazon Global Logistics is also launched in Europe. I'm not sure if it's in any marketplace, but it's somewhere in Europe. It is, I heard, but I have no insights about this. It's also pretty new. I don't tell things where I'm not 100% sure. New marketplaces already teasered. Heyda Sweden, that launched a bit more than 1 year ago. Sweden is pretty small, but people are gospeling, like talking in the back, that Sweden is the kickoff for the Scandinavian market in general. So Sweden is just the first start. Gossiping, I think it was the word. So Sweden is like the first start, and the northern countries in Europe, they are very, let's call it, rich, like very high purchasing power, and very interesting marketplace for the future. The language is Swedish, and they have at least one fulfillment center. I don't know if they open a second one in Sweden itself. So this means you need a Swedish VAT number if you want to sell in Sweden and store your goods in Sweden. And that's really, we learned it with pain. Let's call it like this. Watch out for the currency. If you're like uploading your flat files here and there and everywhere, it might be that you will sell the products what you want to sell for a tenth of the price of euro, the rest of Europe, because in most of the countries you have the euro, and something like 10 or 9 Swedish crowns are €1. So it's a big damage. Yeah, if I may say it also, we did it like with our first launch, and it cost us a couple of hundred of euros, but we figured it out pretty fast. Holland, it's also very, very interesting already. That's what I did not know. It's already established since 2014, but you could also only buy books and ebooks and the Kindle, access to the Kindle store, something like that. But the big launch was in March 2020. Already a revenue of 430 million in 2020, what is not too much for Amazon. Compared to Germany, it's like 30 billion. So it's like 60 times, 70 times as much as the Netherlands. But for this couple of months, I guess it's already a good start. Netherlands has, even though the country is super small, it has one of the highest population densities all over the world. It has 17 million people with high purchasing power. Language is Dutch, but everybody there can speak English, same as in Sweden. And what is interesting, there's currently no fulfillment center in Netherlands, what means you would actually don't need to have a VAT number in Netherlands, because you ship the products from Germany or France directly to Netherlands. That's kind of nice. But in Germany, in Europe, you have like the one-stop shop. I guess Augustus has also some other presentations about the tax topic in Europe. Czech, Poland, and that's the newest one, second newest one after Turkey, and it launched a couple of last year, so 10 months ago. It's the biggest of the 3 new marketplaces from the population side. The main language is Polish, but Allegro is a competitor, and I guess they they got bought by Alibaba. That's my last information. I hope it's not fake news. I'm pretty sure that that was the case. And Amazon is fighting basically with Alibaba on Polish ground. We will see who wins the fight. But what is nice already, if you are selling in Germany and using the mid-European program, then Amazon gives you some kind of a discount. So since many years already, if you store your goods in Poland or Czech Republic, because their labor cost is much lower and they can save money, and that's why they give you some incentive to get, because then you need a Polish and Czech Republic VAT number to do so, because you're sending your goods from Poland to another country, like to Germany, for example. And that's why many of our selling partners, they had already this this VAT number in Poland, because Poland has 7 Amazon fulfillment centers since many years. Since a couple of days, PPC is finally live Poland, so you can do like non-PPC. It's always the same rollout. Amazon just touches the water, feels the water temperature without any features, like just the basic selling on the marketplace, and then all this features like PPC, like deals, like A+ content, and so on will come after that. And now we have the PPC live since a couple of days. Here we have the same issue with the currency. Watch out! I guess €1 is 7 zloty, something like that. And I already mentioned it before. Watch out for the packaging registration. It's the number. You have to have the number on your invoice to the end customer. Otherwise, basically everybody can see that you are not registered.
I just wanted to say that we have a lot of questions, and
please go ahead.
How much content you still have?
That's okay. I have one slide, and then we go to the Space Codes pitch. So
okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So let's take a few questions so that people maybe are waiting for the answers.
Cool.
Lori says, my packaging is in English, French, and English, Spanish. If I launch in Europe, Germany, do I need to repackage for German language?
It depends on the local compliance for the product itself. If it's an easy product, if you can tell me which product, I can say you have or you don't have to do that. Then you don't need a specific packaging, but the hazard warning. As I said, the hazard warning, what is required by law, they need to be in the local language. Other than that, for most of the categories, you don't need it, but it's always better to have it. I think you know why. And because you're using one stock for all over Europe, the best solution is to have it like.
So basically, reprint your instructions or labels. Yeah,
I would recommend to do so. Yes.
And Lori also is asking, can you apply for VAT and pay it quarterly yourself? It's probably a broad topic, and it depends on the country, right? How you pay for
quarterly,
VAT.
So it depends on this company size or the country, if you pay it monthly or quarterly. We are not a VAT service provider, okay? So that's not our product. If you want to get it, I will tell you, like Text2, they are doing the VAT registration. For example, there are also others, HelloText and whatever, but take a professional service for that. That's not the thing where you should save money on. So no, can you apply? Probably you can if you speak Polish, Czech, because seriously, you get letters from the Polish tax office in Polish. In the beginning, we were like, what the fuck? Okay, then we said like Google Translate, don't do that. Please take some professional one here. That's the wrong part where you should say.
All right, Seaside Owen is asking, what about the extended product responsibility, EPR, to sell on Amazon in Germany, France? You must register and upload your registration numbers from January 2022.
EPR is like the electronic thing, I guess. Yes.
So I think he mentioned extended product responsibility.
Yeah. Okay. Extended. Yeah, that's English term. I guess he means that you need to upload your compliance documents into the Amazon Seller Central. If I understand correct, you have to have these numbers uploaded to Amazon for each marketplace. So if you want to sell in Germany, we had this issue right today. Amazon requires now a packaging registration number for Germany that you uploaded to their system. So Amazon will tell you what to upload for a product, but then you have to do that. If I understood the question correctly, if not, please.
Yeah, Cicedo, you can, if you didn't get the answer, let us know. Lori is asking, will Wise, like TransferWise online bank account, be sufficient for payment deposits from European Amazon sales?
I'm pretty sure it is. But I cannot say to 100%. Maybe the crowd can help him out with this, because we are a company already established in Europe and we have like a European bank account. But I'm pretty sure it is possible. But I cannot give you a 100% answer over here. So, please.
I saw this popping up in some Facebook groups. So if you search for some Facebook groups for European Amazon sellers, they will. Wise is quite popular in Europe, so I'm sure somebody tried.
I think it is, but only 90%.
Yeah, and CZ Owen says, no, EPR is packaging registration.
Okay, nice. Yeah, that's what I was anyhow talking.
Standard product. It's that old question.
Yes, we uploaded today to our Seller Central. So yeah, you have to do that, but you don't need it yet in France. We also double checked it. But Amazon will tell you in some notification, what I mentioned before, that you need to upload some stuff, and then you have to upload it to.
All right, so we have a few more questions, but let's jump back to the last slides. Let's do last slides, and then we'll have last questions.
Yeah. Okay. So that's like, Brexit means Brexit. I don't want to offend anybody. I'm not in the position where I can judge if this was the right or the wrong decision to go out. I have my personal opinion, but it's not the case. It's not relevant here. But it is what it is. Brexit means Brexit ? And unfortunately, and sorry for, I think it's blasphemy when I show the slide. I'm not sure, because she's also head of the Church of England. I'm not sure. But yeah, actually Brexit really means Brexit. UK is not part of the pan-European program anymore. UK is not part. So everything what you do with UK, you have to see it separately. So you need to import. Amazon will not distribute your products from Spain to UK anymore. UK needs a separate store. That's super different, and it makes things much more complicated. And you really should think twice if you want to sell in UK yourself. Every shipment to and from UK needs now its own import and export process. What is huge, okay? So we are doing it. We fixed it, but it costs us a lot of money to fix it. So we're doing it. You can send products from Germany to UK, but you need to export them from Germany if you do so, and you need to import them to UK. And for that, you need the import of record and blah blah blah. So it's not straightforward as it was used to be, and it's not like you're sending goods from Germany to Sweden or something. It's like like to Norway, but with Norway we have some more like cooperation already in place for dozens of years, the same as with Switzerland, and the UK everything is pretty new, so that's not part of the European Union anymore. Import-export process is required for each shipment. Another thing are the supply chain issues. Maybe you saw the news. I don't know what is really true over there. We know news, they will show what they want to show, but what we heard from the news is that they are lacking labor power, like truck drivers, things like that. They have like empty shelves in the supermarket. Supply chain is a big issue now, and they get problems, and you will experience the problems in the prices which they need to take. And for example, the warehousing is like almost what we saw, almost double the price, at least 50% more than in Europe. Not only because of the Brexit, but because of the I would say non-UK European Union citizens cannot work just easy as it was used to be in UK. That's why they're lacking a lot of like cheap labor cost workers from Romania and so on and so forth. So that's definitely an issue. And another issue, what you need to be aware of when you order goods from Asia, so that there's like a trade agreement between European Union and UK. Goods that are produced in European Union or UK, you don't need to pay customs for that goods. But to be honest, so if I'm producing my pants in Germany and I transfer them I want to send it to UK, I pay customs fee 0%. But I need to do a customs registration. So I need to say that I need to prove that I pay 0. But to be honest, who sources the product in Europe? What means if you're some of an FBA seller, like 90% you're sourcing your products in Asia somewhere, then it's not in this free trade agreement included. Means if you are bringing your goods to European Union, pay your customs there in the European Union, and you want to bring them to UK, then you would need to pay the customs double. But it's huge. It's just insanely huge. That's why you need to think and rethink how to do that in a smart way. And there are a provider. So if you want to sell European market and UK market, then then you should choose a provider which has a customs warehouse. The customs warehouse is a place where you bring the goods from, for example, Asia directly before the customs process. And from that place, you can split your goods to the part for Europe and the part for UK. Then you can avoid this double customs payment. Otherwise, if you're importing to Germany, and then after you take your part, you share it and sending it to UK, you have to pay the customs double. That's also not intuitive, but that's the reality. And another thing, what is also not intuitive, and it's really just annoying. IPI, I mentioned it before, like Inventory Performance Index. They have this inventory performance. It was used to be one IPI for all over Europe, including UK. Okay? So you had this one number, it was 600, 700, 400, whatever, and it was same for all the marketplaces. And all these marketplaces, they shared the same sub KPIs, like sell-through rate, like overstock and excess inventory and blah, blah, blah. Now, and this is super, stupid, they don't share the sub KPIs, but they share the common main KPIs. So if your LBE IPI is 600, okay, then it's 600 in Europe and in UK, although in UK you have like super good KPIs and in Europe you have bad KPIs. Why this is stupid? People who are not selling in UK anymore, they have basically bad stats, sub KPIs in UK. And this bad sub KPIs in a market where you don't care at all about will harm your main account, your European Union main account. So the sub KPIs are different, but the main KPI is shared. So you can have double green, triple green in Europe. If UK is red, the IPE will go down and down and down. And that's an official answer that it's the reason, because they are linked. I don't know why, and I hope that they will fix that bug. But if you're wondering why your IPE was down, while you have super good sub KPIs, UK might be the reason. For us, it was. So, and that's basically it. From the content part, you can go with more questions if you like.
Okay, so let's look at a few questions before we introduce Space Goats.
Yes.
CEO is asking, is it possible to have only just one VAT number for all accounts? Yes, probably it also depends, no?
It is, but then it's not pan-European program. Then we need to be clear in it. So yes, you can be a German seller, the German VAT number. No Poland, no Czech, just to be easy. And you can sell your products, which are stored, and that's important, stored in Germany. You can sell them to French customers. That's possible. There you have the one-stop shop. Google it afterwards when you're interested in the topic. And then you don't need a French VAT number. But you don't store the goods in France, then you are not allowed to do so. What means your customer has the end customer has much higher waiting time for the product, and what is even worse, that you pay roughly double the shipping cost, because you pay the cross-border distribution. But it would be possible to do it with some disadvantages.
Okay, next one from Tseren. It seems really expensive to sell in Europe. Would European customers accept slightly higher price than in US?
You're from US market. In what I experienced so far, it's much cheaper to sell in European Union instead of USA because you have much lower shipping costs for FBA, like different world, and you have definitely less PPC costs, so it makes things much easier. So they would. It depends on the market. You can use your Helium 10 and whatever tools, same as for US market, also for the European market. Then you see the demand and you see the market perspective. But in general, it's cheaper to sell in Europe than in the USA. I hope I did not confuse you guys.
Yeah, Tseren, if you think differently, you're welcome to share in the comments why you think it's more expensive, and perhaps Anton can comment on that. SEO is asking, is there a minimum amount you need to be making before having VAT in that country?
Okay, you can have the VAT number when you want to have your VAT number. So you can apply for it with zero revenue. You actually have to do that with zero revenue because you're not allowed to sell there if you have no VAT number. So yes, there is no threshold. In the past, maybe you confuse it with the past. It was like you have thresholds to the different countries. For example,
distance selling thresholds.
Yes, distance selling thresholds. And it used to be like that, but it's not the case anymore because the European Union, after 20 years of negotiating, they brought this one-stop shop in place where you don't have this threshold anymore. You can report always to your local one-stop shop entity, and then they will distribute the VAT to all these countries.
Yeah, so if you have German VAT, but you sold lots of products to French customers, you anyway pay VAT in Germany, and Germany will distribute this money to France or something.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, let's take last questions after you talk about Space Goats. So how Space Goats can help us to avoid any VATs and all the headaches in Europe?
All right, so upfront, we sell, to just understand the basic principle, we sell your products through our company and our Amazon account, European-wide to the end customer. What means that we will write the invoice to the end customer. What means we are the company which stores your goods in France. What means that you don't need any VAT numbers anymore because you have one business partner, that are we. You just need one European VAT number, and with that European VAT number, you sell us the products, and we spread it all over Europe just for you. We started with the product ourselves for German sellers, which we're already selling in Germany, served the German Amazon account, everything was fine, but wanted to avoid this bureaucracy hassle, and we sold just their products in the other marketplaces but Germany. So that you get a basic idea what's going on here. So we sell your products all over Europe since a couple of months, also in UK through our Amazon account, and your value propositions are obviously internationalization, automation, and security. I will tell later a bit more about what is going on. So what do we do for you in the basic service? We sell the products through our account, so that we call it broker service. That was the best terminology we could find. We sell your products in our name. We run the Amazon account. You actually don't need to have your own Amazon account if you sell via Space Goats. We handle the end customer support, invoicing, billing, all this VAT stuff which comes with this responsibility to sell in different marketplaces. And of course, you don't need to trust us in total. You have a dashboard, we call it Galaxy, where you see what is related to your products, your stock, how much you earn, how much taxes you pay, blah, blah, blah. And as an additional service, everything what I explained in the slides before, that's kind of our mission to help you out with any points where you have problems. So it's a modular system. The basic service is always included, but everything you need more, like WEE and battery, like supply chain automation, so that we do the pre-FBA warehousing for you, like compliance services if you need some compliance advice or some compliance check. That's where we can help you with all this process, and you just need to ask us where you need your help, PPC, whatever, we can do that. Most of this additional service we don't do ourselves, but we have a platform where we connect you to the partners which are doing it, and they know how the processes are working. So yeah, that's a slide what they built someday for some American corporation. So that is the value chain from sourcing to distribution, like selling on Amazon and everything. What is in the red line, we can help you out with this, and everything what is not in this, you would need to do it yourself. But I did not want to do too much over here. The difference of one glass, yeah, it's a marketing slide. We'll find it on our website. Alone is confusing with space because you have one business partner which helps you out with all of this. And yeah, if you see this guy is a bit sad and this guy is happy and this money coin is little, this is higher, but yeah, it's bigger. That's a marketing thing. And here you have the dashboard where you see how much you sold, and what your PPC costs, so you can control your PPC through our platform and communicate with us. We have also a service marketplace included for different other services. For example, if you need growth capital, if you need PPC, if you need translation services, if you need, and so on and so forth. And of course, our Amazon account, our very strong Amazon account with the Amazon 360 support program, where we pay 4 digits number per month for. We can just profit from our big sales infrastructure, but not everything is shiny. Of course, I'm just transparent with the cons of our service. You don't have a direct Amazon account access. You could have one, but not for our Amazon account, of course. That's why we built the Galaxy. If a super new feature is rolled out, we cannot always guarantee that we implement it in time into our Galaxy directly, so you could have a delay over here. As we take care of the end customer support, you would definitely lose. That's just the reality. The control of the customer relations, not totally, but at least a little bit, because you don't get all the messages from the customers directly. Of course, you forward the most important ones to you, but in general, we just fix it, and you will never hear that there was any issue. And we take ROA compliance very serious. Why? Because our Amazon account is glory, is holy to us. That's the first reason. The second reason is we want to be super compliant in front of the state, to have like a good reputation over here. And we have venture capital funded, so compliance is a big issue, and we swear with our left kidney that we will always try to do our best to be compliant over here. But it's not only a disadvantage, it could be also an advantage, because if we say that's compliant, it's compliant, and you don't need to worry that something bad happens to your product. Without internationalization automation, if you need some representative Amazon account, for example, we have like D2C brands which are not allowed to sell themselves on Amazon, but they would love to do so. But if they would do it, then their sellers, the other sellers which are selling their products from the producer, will see that they are selling. So we just give you our account if you want to do like D2C and be kind of undercover. We do Amazon account backup, which means if your account gets blocked one day, we can take over your listings. Or if your account is already blocked, we can take over your listing and keep selling, of course, after checking why your account is blocked and so on and so forth. That's obvious. And compliance of all kind. And that's why I did not tell too much about how to launch a product in the European Union, how to do your translations. That's not our main business. We do the ugly bureaucracy and administration part. We run the Amazon account, we do the compliance part, we pay your taxes. That's what we do, and that's where we're good at. And everything you need more than this, we can help you out with some partner network. As I said, for each step on the value chain, from beginning to the exit, we have partners which can help you with. And I don't know if it's legal to post it to give here, but it's from my lovely colleague Ruben. I just liked it so much that I needed to use it. And now we have time for more questions. And thank you for your attention so far.
All right, thank you very much. We have a question about your service. Riles is asking, did I see on your slide that you can be our responsible person? They are looking for such service in UK.
There is a service in UK which is doing exactly this. We collaborate with them. We are not doing it ourselves, but we collaborate with them. It's called Global E-commerce Experts, and they're doing it for our customers.
Okay, so yeah, Global E-commerce Experts, or you can write to Space Goats and maybe they will redirect.
Yes, exactly.
And actually about your service, I was thinking to ask, in the beginning of the presentation, you said that selling in Europe adds a value for aggregators when you exit your business. Mm-hmm. How does it look when, let's say, American seller has very good business in account in US, and now they sell their products through your account? Mm-hmm. How does it look for aggregators? Because this is kind of now in your account.
Yes, actually, the first, I don't want to tell the aggregator, but one of the first aggregators bought their first target, which was our customer. But not that easy. He was selling himself in Germany, and he was selling in Europe through us. What they just made is they took over his account, basically. We made some ownership transfer, and the company, the aggregator, they just let it go for a couple of months or 1 year or something like that, and then they just took the listings and transferred them to their account, and everything was fine. What I did not mention, what is super important, you can manage your content. If you, for example, if you have a German Amazon account, you can upload all the listings all over Europe on your account, and we just hijack them. That's even cooler for us because we have less work, right? And that's why the content was already in his account, but just the selling part was in our account, and it was the easiest thing to transfer it back to the original.
And in terms of evaluation of the during the exit, yes, basically they would have to take numbers from Galaxy, from your software, and to add to the whole brand or something.
Or shout out to Vladi, Sellerbot. That's what, because we had, I mean, that's daily business for us, that people want to sell their business and then the aggregators approach us. Then we can provide a seller board, for example, a seller board access to our account, and then they see, like, only for the products which are related to that, and then the aggregators can see exactly what is going on over there in seller board. And if they need more, then we can have them more. But we actually we help them till the exit.
And of course, if you want to sign up for Space Goats, we do have a coupon code, which I think we will update in the description. No, not coupon codes.
The last slide.
Another.
The last slide.
Look at the slides.
Super last slide. Sorry. Yes. Okay. Get a setup fee free off if you're using the Orange 22 code. And yeah, we are happy to help with anything you want to know about what I told you today. And yeah.
And what does it mean to get set up free? Yeah. What is the price of the setting up?
Yes, so we have a price at the moment. So we are creating a new pricing at the moment. But the current pricing, what I can make public, is we have a monthly subscription fee. It's between 150 euro and 399 euro per month. 399 if you don't have your own Amazon account and you want to sell in UK as well. So with UK, without UK, it's 299 or something per month. It's like the max if you don't have it. And 1 month of subscription is basically the setup fee, because we experienced in the past that and so on and so forth that we need a setup fee to cover our own costs, and you will not pay this one the setup fee in the beginning. All right, so maybe something about the cost. Subscription fee plus 50 cents per sold item. That's what you pay. 50 cents per sold item. That's what you pay when you're using our basic service. So there's no PPC consultancy. You have to do your PPC yourself, your content yourself, and blah blah. But that's basically the cost. If you are able to do it, then it's 149 to 399 plus 50 cents per sold item. And yeah,
I would like to maybe check. This is your website.
Yes, exactly.
And
that's only backup. Yes.
Yeah. So there are all the pricings. There is a sliding thing which you can check, right?
It's only for the backup. If you want to back
up the backup.
Yes.
Okay. So here is the main pricing.
Yes, here's the main pricing.
Okay. All right. So let's have. Okay, one more question about your service. We still have a few more questions related to European marketplaces, but do you do service for the USA?
We are implementing it right now, but it's not really official. We picked like 2 or 3 test customers from our current customer base, and we are going to try it. Our account is set up and most set up, but we are not publishing it yet. It's going to come hopefully in the mid of this year.
Okay, yeah. Seren is saying thanks for great presentation, and already we talked about the cost of the service. Again, check the link below in the description. It's the best, of course. If we get commission, of course, we get small commission if you start using the service.
Yes, of course.
So, a few more questions. Seren was asking earlier, I'm a VAT registered in UK and Germany and send orders all over, like in Europe, France, Italy, Spain. This year, he wants to expand to Sweden and Poland. What is the best way to enter these markets?
So first of all, to save logistic costs, I would recommend to apply for the VAT numbers also in France, Italy, Spain, and Poland. You should have Poland if you're a bigger seller and using the mid.
Maybe he's not using pan-EU. Maybe he just sells from UK and Germany, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't mean pan-EU. I mean if you're in Germany, if you just sell Germany, just Amazon.de, if you want to sell there, and you have VAT numbers in Poland and Czech Republic in place, and you say Amazon use the Middle European program, not the Middle European program, then you get, I guess, 35 to 50 cent discount for every shipping cost. So that's anyhow what I would strongly recommend to do, because you save for all your German sales. So that's like the first thing. Get the VAT. You launch your product, obviously get the VAT numbers, and then activate the pan-European program. That's the easiest way. I don't know if I can do it. So give a general answer to that general question. What is the best way to enter these markets? Yeah, you entered it already.
But can you activate in Amazon dashboard in Seller Central? Let's say that shipping is allowed to Sweden and Poland from your German market.
Yes.
German FBA.
Yes, you can do it. You can do it.
But it's expensive, right?
Exactly. Then you pay there's some rate sheet from Amazon, official rate sheet, roughly double the cost. It depends on the package size, but you can do it in 2 ways. Either do it, test it as you did it in France, Italy, and Spain, that you say, okay, I'm sending from Germany to other marketplace, maybe with a lower margin to just test the water over there. Or you say, okay, I'm doing it, I know my product will fly there, then you will apply for the number. You don't launch at all with your current, because it has an effect on your ranking and on your conversion rate. If you have like 2 or 3 days instead of 1 day delivery, there's no way about it. So first thing, you test it with lower customer experience and higher shipping costs, or you get the VAT numbers for all the countries what I explained, and do it directly pan-European program where you can lower shipping costs, or you come to us. That's
Space Goats can also help such seller who wants to test, let's say, Sweden, Poland through your account. It's also possible, right?
Definitely. For this field, if he's not selling, if he has no VAT numbers in France, Italy, and Spain, he will just save their money if he's using our local costs, because we are paying always the local costs, and you are paying the double. Yeah, so it's also for the other markets best interesting. I don't know to pitch bullshit, okay, but that's just the reality. That's just the reality.
Seren also says it would be great if you could recommend agency that provides Amazon operations service professionally.
Okay, can you hit me up afterwards? I don't know what you mean with Amazon operations service. You mean account management, or I'm just not 100% sure.
So, how can he contact you?
Anton at